All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are tackling a word you hear literally everywhere, data. It's supposed to be reshaping our entire world, right? But what is it actually? The answer? Well, it might just surprise you. You've probably heard this quote before, and man does it hit the nail on the head. It perfectly captures this huge shift. Making big decisions, whether you're in business, in a science lab, or honestly, just figuring out your daily life, it all comes down to the data. So, to really get a handle on the power of data, we have to strip it all back. We need to go back to the very basics. And trust me, what we're about to uncover could seriously change how you look at the world around you.
So let's start at square one. We're going to look at where the word even comes from, and then explore all the places data is being generated, which, spoiler alert, is pretty much everywhere.
Okay, so the word itself, data. It actually comes from Latin, and it literally just means that which is given. That's it. Think of it like a single, raw, totally unfiltered fact. Just a given thing.
And this given stuff, these little raw facts, oh man, they are everywhere. I mean, literally all around us. That little temperature sensor in your room, that's generating data. The GPS on your phone? Yep, data. Your last social media post, that email you just sent. It's all part of this massive, invisible trail of raw facts we're creating every single second.
So all of this raw data, you can think of it as the fuel, right? It's the crude oil of our entire digital world. But here's the thing about crude oil. On its own, it's kind of useless. You can't just pour it in your car. It has to be refined. And data is exactly the same. So, how do we do that? How do we refine it? Well, let's actually do it. Let's take one single, tiny piece of data and watch its journey. See how it transforms from something meaningless into something, well, something incredibly powerful. Okay, look at this. It's just a number, the number 2. That's it. It's just floating there. It has no context, no meaning. It's completely useless on its own, right? This is data in its absolute purest, rawest form. But watch what happens when we add a little context. Boom. Suddenly, that number 2 isn't just a 2 anymore. It's a temperature. It's in Celsius, and it's for a specific place, Trento. See what happened? It's not just random data anymore. We've turned it into information. And we can take it one step further. Now, you and I take that information, it's 2 degrees Celsius, and we combine it with our own human experience. We know that 2 degrees Celsius is cold. That feeling, that understanding, that's knowledge. It's an insight we can act on. It's what tells us, hey, you should probably grab a jacket.
And this right here is what people call the data value chain, or the knowledge pyramid. You start at the bottom with that raw, messy data. You give it context to turn it into information. You apply experience to turn that into knowledge. And at the very top, that's where you get intelligence. That's the ability to not just react, but to actually predict and make smart decisions for the future.
Okay, so we see the potential, right? We know the stuff is powerful. But how in the world do we organize it all? Well, it turns out most data falls into one of 3 main buckets. First up, we have what's called structured data. The best way to think about this is like a perfectly organized spreadsheet. Everything has its place. There are neat columns, neat rows. It's the clean, predictable, orderly world of traditional databases.
And because everything is so organized, because we know the exact structure beforehand, it's super easy for computers to read and analyze. A perfect example is a database table just like this. You've got your columns for ID, name, city, no surprises, clean and simple.
All right, now let's jump all the way to the other end of the spectrum. This is unstructured data. And this is where things get messy. This is the wild, chaotic, but also kind of beautiful jungle of our digital lives. What am I talking about? I'm talking about emails, newspaper articles, your social media posts, audio files, YouTube videos, CAD videos. It's all the rich, complex human stuff that just refuses to fit neatly into a spreadsheet. And as you might guess, there's something in the middle. It's called semi-structured data. So it's not as rigid and strict as a spreadsheet, but it's not a complete free-for-all like a video file. It's got some hints, some clues that give it a bit of organization. A perfect example of this is something called JSON, which you see right here. You see those little tags like name and age and cars? They act like little labels or signposts that help a machine understand what the data is about, even though it's not locked into a formal table. Now get this. This is the crazy part. A whopping 90%, of all the data in the world is either unstructured or semi-structured. So think about that. That means the real game, the biggest challenge, and the biggest opportunity is figuring out how to make sense of all that messy human stuff.
Okay, so we have all this data, right? Structured, unstructured, all of it. Now, how do we actually put it to work? Well, a lot of the time, it comes down to a single crucial factor: speed. There are really two main ways to handle it. You have batch processing, which is kind of the traditional model. You collect data for a while, an hour, a day, and then you process it all in one big chunk, or batch. And then you have the new way of doing things: stream processing. This is where you process data the instant it's created, in real time.
And for a lot of modern applications, real-time is the only thing that matters. I mean, think about an industrial sensor. If a machine is about to overheat, you need to know right now, not in tomorrow's report. You need to fire an alarm immediately, maybe even shut the device down. That immediate reaction, that's the incredible power of stream processing.
So if you put it all together, you can see we have this kind of matrix, right? On one side, you have the different types of data: structured, unstructured, and so on. On the other, you have the ways to process it: batch or stream. And when you start mixing and matching from this toolbox, well, the things you can build are pretty much endless.
So you see, the big question isn't if we can use data anymore. We know we can. The real question is how. It's the fuel, it's the raw material for building our future. So what will you build? Thanks for watching The Explainer.